This project was part of Activage 2012. We worked with the Make Shop, which is part of the Science Gallery in Dublin. And the project is about older people hacking or modifying everyday objects. And here we are in Make Shop with members of Tala Men's Shed and Silver Surfers. We started the day with some talks and a little discussion about design, and then everybody got to work hacking. We used a plasticine material like this for hacking, so it was just to mock up how people would like to modify things. Here's an example. This is a pre-made example of a camera which has been made more ergonomic. This is using material called Sugru, which is similar to plasticine, except it hardens. So we just left lots of things at a table and let people play around with them and waited for things to happen. Kitchen implements were a favourite for hacking. Here's one idea.
I watched people with various infirmities in their hands and it was difficult to use equipment like this. And I'm looking at stuff like this, it has to be gripped hard and pressed down. Well, that suits a lot of people. I come up with this idea of just putting a simple knob on the top of it, ergonomically shaped, that would be easy gripped, and the person then using it could just press down and mash their potatoes or whatever is in the pot they want to mash. But the whole principle of the thing is, you don't need a strong hard grip to use this. It just rests in your hand nicely. And there's no effort pulling it out or pulling it down, and okay, when you press it down then you crush whatever is there, and basically that's it.
And there was plenty of discussion about how things could be improved, how designs could be made better.
One of my compadres here said, how am I going to hang her up? Well, that's very simple. It's a matter of just making a little hole in it, and you can hang her on a hook. And basically that's it.
So it's something of a design process going, I guess, with little iteration. Good thing about the plasticine material is it's very hands-on and it's very immediate to see what you're doing. So here we can see the evolution of the handle of the utensil that was designed earlier, and with some more ideas.
And things like that, particularly carving knives. But this is an apple corer and a potato peeler. And what happens is, sometimes people's hands with grease or wet gets on them, or this gets wet with steam. There's always the danger, and it has happened, people's hands slip up and they slide over the sharp edge. And that can happen with a knife underneath. By introducing a simple little device like this shield, it does two things. It allows the person to have that little bit more pressure for what they're doing. But also when they're pushing into core things, the hand will not slip down over that.
So our participants were coming up with lots of bright ideas as to how to make things better, how to hack things better. And these designs are coming from real experience. You know this thing needs a better grip because you've experienced difficulty yourself using it, or someone you know has had difficulty using it. So maybe older people should just design for themselves, come up with an idea, work out how to get it manufactured. But realistically, that's probably going to be too complicated for most people. But who knows, maybe 3D printers will change that. Maybe when you come up with an idea in the future, it'll be not too complicated to get it made. Just come up with the idea, pass it over to your 3D printer, and maybe it'll be realistic to run off small quantities of bespoke objects. It would certainly be a very direct route for the needs of the user to get recognized in design if the technology goes that way. The design of mobile phones came up quite a lot in our conversations with the participants, and what could be done to make them better.
It's just a little annoying as well. Yeah. So you can only make it so intuitive, you know what I mean?
Okay, and here's some of the ideas that came up for improving mobile phones. How about this? A volume control, a proper dial volume control, not a fiddly button for the side of your mobile. How about raised keys to make it easier to identify the buttons on the phone? And how about this? For someone who's hard of hearing, instead of the phone just ringing, what about the entire phone flashing? Apart from the mobile though, most issues that came up during the day really concerned ergonomics.
I have this grip spanner, wrench. And I have it on there's a nut here.
Okay, yeah.
It turns and opens and closes it. So you open it.
Oh yeah, it's easier to grip it, cool.
Easy to grip it. Because it's safe having to, you could have a very hard nut to open.
Yeah.
And it might slip off, and it could be rusted.
Okay.
It could be a rusted screw.
And what about general things that could be better? Certainly this can design seems could be better.
They have tins of fruit, you know, and beans.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like that. And when I start pulling at that little menagerie on top, when I pull at that, it doesn't, it comes off on its own. If I press it down, the juice will start coming out or something.
So you have to flip the thing over?
I had to flip it over and do it at the bottom.
So here's one possible solution to that problem. Just give a little bit more leverage to the can pull. And other things that could be better? What about the humble kettle?
What about the kettle? You need hot water. Well, I seem to need hot water all the time. That constantly maybe refills itself. I seem to be running from where I plug in the kettle to the sink to keep topping up the kettle when I make a coffee, or when people come in to hand coffee. It needs there could be an advancement there.
So I think we found in this project that older people have lots of really good ideas about design, and they're drawn from their own experiences. So designers just really need to listen. And we'll finish up with some direct advice to designers.
Yeah, common sense, be practical. Go out and experience the thing first. Don't sit down at your drawing board with a gang of guys and a computer and come up with this design. Look at what's out. What we've been doing here today, simple little things.